Hello, everybody. Here we are. I'm Mike Slicker. This is Lighthouse Books, and this is another one of our rare book moments. Today, we're going to talk about science. I don't often talk about science, but we have some interesting things here that I think you'll enjoy. This first one is The Great Herbal of John Gerard. It was originally published in 1597. This particular edition, Richard Thomas made additions and corrections, and this is the 1633 edition, which is considered to be the best edition, the most interesting, particularly since there were additions that Thomas made and all of that. This is the engraved title page, but it includes more than 2,700 of these interesting woodcut illustrations, and each of the woodcuts is accompanied by a fairly detailed annotation of what the various plants are. It's interesting. Gerard made a few mistakes, as you can well imagine, in 1633, or actually 1597, and then some of those mistakes were carried over. They do have coral, for instance, and sea fans listed in the back here as plants. But it also includes plants that have been identified in other parts of the world, Russia and China, for instance. And here is the very first appearance, the very first description of the potato from the New World. Of course, it was discovered and brought back from South America, but they have it from Virginia. So they got the hemisphere right, but they didn't do everything else. In reading the description, they described a potato as being about the size of a bullet. So it wasn't quite as big as our russets that we have out in Idaho presently. One of the interesting things is that John Gerard was an amateur guy. He was a gardener. And while he did garden for some of the royalty in and around London, he was not an academic. He was simply a gardener. The man who made the corrections, Thomas, was a little more of that, although he was an apothecary. I'll get it right, apothecary, and had limited education as well. So that was one of the books. The other one, this one, Antoine Leeuwenhoek, was the father of microbiology. And this book, Arcane Naturae, was published in 1696. And Leeuwenhoek also was, well, his main job was he sold cloth, linen cloth. He was a linen draper, as the say. And he never wrote a scientific paper of any kind. Rather, as he used his microscope, he wrote letters to the British Royal Society and enclosed illustrations of what he had found. He is the first person to describe both protozoa and bacteria. I was trying to find some of the illustrations that are kind of interesting there. When evidently after the store closed at night or whatever, he went home, got his microscope out, and did detailed drawings and detailed letters that he sent to the Royal Society. Obviously, he too was an amateur, but as I say, is considered to be the father of microbiology. It's interesting that both of these gentlemen were amateur scientists and had not a lot of training, any of that sort of thing. And you think, well, there is no place for that in today's world. And in fact, there is. We in the book collecting world know only too well that there is no university in the country that doesn't have a collection that was created and developed by an amateur. And book collectors are oftentimes at the cutting edge of our culture, of our popular culture. And so collections have been developed of Black studies and women's studies and gay literature, fanzines and comics, and all manner of things that are being studied today, children's literature and young adult literature. All of these various areas were frontiers when those collections were put together. And I'm sure that people in today's world are also developing those kinds of collections. And we applaud all of that. We, in the book world, look for the various things that are going to be for the next generation. We're glad of the creativity. Creativity is a great thing for anybody. It's available in the book world, in book collections. And we look forward to seeing what you have in the back of your mind and what you are developing. But we'll look forward to seeing you next time in our Rare Book Moment.